Tutorial 4 again has us modelling a revolved component, but for this tutorial I'm going to show you a second technique that we can use, and this is called the layer cake method. And the idea is that we use subsequent extrusions to form the outline of the shape, and then to form some of the more detailed features at the end I'll use the Revolve tool and show you how we can remove material using that tool. So I'm just going to head on over to Creo. Okay, so once we're in Creo, we just need to set the working directory. Okay, and then start a new component. So on part, we're okay. Let's name our parts and untick the default template. Okay, and then we just need to select the units that we'd like to use. So millimeters is the standard. Okay, so now we're in here. I'm going to start off with this component, and so if we have a look at the engineering drawing, you'll see that all the dimensions are basically from one of the baseline end of this component. So I'm going to start off at that end, and you will see that we start off with a threaded section, and this is an M20 thread. So what that means is that the external diameter for this component section will be 20 millimeters. Okay, so I'm just going to start off by drawing that. So sketch, select plane, sketch, and then sketch U. Circle tool, so left click once, left click again, and press the middle mouse button, and then set the diameter. Okay, so we accept that, and then we're going to use the extrude tool. And so the height of this is 26. Okay, so that's our first section. Now the next section is an undercut section for the thread. So I'm going to build that up by drawing another circle. Extrude, click on this face, click sketch. Let's go to sketch view, and again we'll just use the circle tool. And the diameter on this one is 8.5 times 2. Okay. And again we'll use the extrusion, and this time, so the thickness this needs to be is 4, and we get that from 30 minus 26. Okay. Okay, so on the drawing there's now a slope section. What I'm going to do is add that in afterwards, so I'll just build this next cylinder using the slope and the normal cylindrical section. So we go sketch, click on the face. Okay, so the main diameter of this section of the cylinder is 15 times by 2. 30. Okay, and then again we'll just follow the same process and click extrude. So the thickness for this section is actually 53 minus 30. Remember that we're going to add the slope section after. Okay. Now we'll go sketch on this section. Okay, so this section has quite a bit of detail in it as well, but again I'm going to add that as a secondary procedure, and so I'm just going to start by doing a circle. Okay, so at its largest, this section has a diameter of 48. Okay, and then we extrude, and so this bit is 79 minus 53. Okay, and then we'll just work on the next two sections. So we go sketch. Okay, so diameter to this is 21 times 2. Okay, extrude. This has quite a strange depth, so it's 84.04 minus 79. Okay, and then the final part, I will add the curved section as a secondary procedure. So the next part is just, I've got one final cylinder to add. And the diameter for this is 18 times 2. Okay, and then we go extrude, and so this one is 95 minus 84.04. Okay, so we've got the basic outline for this shape, so now it's time to add some of these more detailed features, some of the cutouts. And to do that I'm going to use the Revolve tool. So first of all I need to do a sketch here. Let's go to sketch view, and I need to generate a profile. Okay, so if I start here, there's a cut-off section here, and so I just need to draw the geometry for this. So first of all, I'm actually going to start off with adding some references. So the slope section actually starts in line with the outer diameter of this. So this line here is quite a good reference. The top of the section is useful, and also this face here. Okay, so if I actually go into construction mode, first of all I'm going to generate a line across here, so it gives me my reference point from where I need to cut from. So line, let's go from there to there, middle mouse, let's come out of construction mode, and then I'll just draw an outline of the geometry. So there, I'm going to try not to snap onto anything so that I can change the dimension. There to there. Okay. And so if we have a look at the drawing, that's actually this point that is referenced from this face here. So I'm going to add that dimension in. So click on the dimension tool, click on this line, press Ctrl and left click on this point here, and then let go of Control and press the middle mouse button. Okay. And so the drawing says it's 38. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So click OK. Actually, I've made a mistake. I need to add the center line to this so that we can revolve it. So I'm just going to go back. So I'll right click on Sketch and click Edit Definition, and then I will use the center line tool here to add a center line. So that will allow me to revolve this. So if I click OK, and then now we go to revolve, you'll see that it automatically knows to remove that material. So revolve is just like extrusion. We can add and remove material using that feature. Okay, so I'm going to use the same process now to create the cutout on this section. So again, we'll go Sketch, click on the plane, Sketch, square up the view. And again, I'm going to add some references, so this edge here is going to be useful for me. This edge is actually going to be quite useful as well, because that's where the bottom of the V is in line with. And I think this edge will also help me out. Okay, so let's close. Now let's start drawing some of these lines. So first of all, actually, I'm going to put a construction line in. Just put a construction line along there. That tells me where the bottom of this pulley V will be. And let's come out of construction mode. use the line tool. So the first one is just a slope here. That's quite easy for us to do. So let's dimension that up. Again, the dimension is from this baseline over here. So I'm going to go Dimension Tool. Let's click on this baseline with the left mouse button, press and hold Control, click on this point with the left mouse button, let go of Control, and then press the middle mouse button. Okay, so this is specified as 57 on the drawing. Okay, so that's the first part done. So now I just need to add the cutout to this section here. So use the line tool and just draw a basic representation of the geometry. Okay, so it's obviously tried to dimension this up, but it's not made a very good job of it, so let's add our own. So dimension, so again, baseline, left click, and hold Control, left click, let go of Control, middle mouse button. So on the drawing, this point here is 61. Okay, so I'm going to add dimensions to each one of these points. Okay, so now I'll just go along and change all these to match the drawing. Okay, so that's all okay, and just need to remember to add the center line. So add a center line to this here, middle mouse button, and click OK. And again, when I click on the Revolve tool, you'll see that it's cutting the material away. If for some reason it doesn't remove the material, just remember that you can toggle it here. Okay. So now we've just got a final piece to do, so we just need to add the radius onto the back face of this part. Okay, so again we can use the Revolve tool. So we go Sketch. Let's go here. Let's add some references. This face, close. And so to do this I'm going to actually use the Arc tool. So I'll go here. Line along here and press the middle mouse button, and let's change this to 40. Okay, and now we just need to join these lines together. Okay, and I just need to remember to add the center line. Okay, and again when I click Revolve, you'll see that it removes the material and gives us that spherical cap. And so we're almost done. The last thing on here is just there's a chamfer at the bottom of the thread. So we're just going to use the chamfer tool, change this to 2, and then let's just click on this edge. Let's put that in, and we click OK. Okay, so that's our part completed.